What is up, good people? Jungle Inc. here. Hope you're doing well. A lot of people panicking. We saw WisdomTree pulling its XRP ETF today. What are they doing? What are they thinking? Saw my buddy Scams. He was saying, well, there's just no demand for an XRP ETF. They recognize this fact. And it's not that at all, right? We have Canary Capital, the ETF issuer you've never heard of, you've never wanted to hear of. And they launched the first XRP ETF, and they had the most successful ETF launch of 2025. Like, there's demand out there. Let's get real. This isn't some sort of SEC crackdown on XRP. Bitwise, Franklin, Canary absolutely dominating. They're all approved. They're all trading. No issue here. What's going on with WisdomTree? Well, it's quite simple. Number one, saturation. They're late. They're late to the game. The market is already dominated by first movers. Now, you could move them off their mark. You could be, a BlackRock, a Fidelity, someone really big and say, hey, we're going to come in here and we think we could still capture much of this market. I think that's what they're planning on, by the way. I think you will see an XRP ETF for BlackRock and Fidelity eventually. And when that happens, we'll see how it goes. But the first movers, they capture marketplace. And if you're a WisdomTree, what's the point? You're not catching them. You're not going to have enough volume to make your ETF really matter. Specific deficiency, the SEC probably tagged their filing as a technical error in their paperwork. They may come back and still file again. We don't know what they plan to do. And strategic exit, by withdrawing now under Rule 477, they avoid a formal stop order on their permanent record. In other words, they don't have to show they did something wrong. Maybe they come back, maybe they file, maybe they don't. Does it really matter at this point in time? Again, we already have some heavy hitters, more on the horizon, and usually your top one or two ETFs, they take the whole market. Let's be honest, it's not typically your late filers, nothing to be worried about at all. Now, Ripple testing Amazon AI to supercharge the XRP ledger. Those people that figure out how to use these symbiotic technologies, as my buddy Myron says, they share the same DNA, AI, blockchain. It's going to converge in a big way. Ripple trying to get that exact, method together here. Ripple's reportedly exploring Amazon Bedrock, AWS, to automate data analysis on the ledger. The efficiency gains is massive. So this is some real-world utility, not just incorporating AI for the hype, for the FOMO. No. This makes a big difference. Manual review right now currently takes 2 to 3 days. If there's an issue out there, it takes them a while to track it down. What caused the problem? What is the issue? Sometimes, a lot of times, most of the times, XRP Ledger, it fixes itself. We've heard David Schwartz talk about that. It's not always the devs, right? And so with AI-powered review, it takes it from 2 to 3 days to 2 to 3 minutes. That's something that's going to be required for institutions. If we're going to have a true global system, when there's problems, and there will always be, we're talking about software here. When there's a problem, we can track it down, we can figure it out, and we can fix it real quick like. And that is a effective use of AI to really make the blockchain, more usable, more reliable. That's a big deal there. XRP Ledger DEX, liquidity hitting 173 billion, the new lending tool live. The network is scaling for institutional volume. That's the point here, right? Using the network for real use cases, economic use cases. That's what's going to make the difference here. And we're incorporating AI in a useful way, one that can make us much more robust and usable in the long term. That's a big one there. Wave of innovation here is overjoyed to reveal Joel Katz, Mr. David Schwartz himself, is CTO Emeritus of Ripple and co-creator of the XRP Ledger. He's going to be speaking at that event, Wave of Innovation. David will close the event out with a live AMM focused on the future of blockchain and XRP. Submit your questions in advance and don't miss the close, because you have the headliner, the alpha and omega of XRP himself, showing up to close out this conference. That's a big one. I think Crypto Eddie will be there reporting on this, and I can't wait to see how that goes. That's a big announcement here. U.S. market structure bill is moving towards committee markup, and insiders say that it could land on the president's desk. Listen to this. Q1 of 2026. That's right around the corner. If that happens, it's going to be so bullish. We see the post here. If you hold assets like XRP, Bitcoin, real assets, ones with value. This is an update you can't wait to ignore. This is so important. It allows institutions to jump in here with certainty. And if this happens, it'll be a huge catalyst. I posted this up after the last video. I didn't think that CNBC, they focused on XRP enough. And then they came out here and they posted this. And man, they're like cheering. They're having an XRP day on CNBC, talking about XRP's greatness. And sometimes that can be a top signal, right? When CNBC is telling you to buy, you're usually going to get wrecked. I think that's the case in the very, very, very short term, but long term, the world's waking up. And they recognize what's happening here. XRP, it's going to dominate. And even CNBC, they recognize that. Treasury Secretary Bessent says millions of Americans may receive the largest tax refunds of their life this year. Might some of those people take that excess capital and invest in cryptocurrencies? I say yes. Let me know what you think here. The Senate Banking Committee will vote on the crypto market structure bill on January 15th. This bill could really trade out crypto trades forever. It bans wash trading. So that part, that's a useful tool. If you're sitting on a loss, you can sell that loss and then you can rebuy in. And unlike stocks, you don't get hit with the wash trading rules that may change. Okay. Fake volume. So you can't just pump the volume on your exchange to make yourself look very large, very significant. It criminalizes spoofings and front running. That's important, of course. Not so important in the XRP ledger because guess what? The ledger itself stops that. But on lesser chains, yeah, that's a big deal. Front running. You got to watch out for it. This is going to criminalize that exact thing. Gives regulators real-time tools to monitor market abuse, requires proof of reserves, and regulates audits for U.S. exchanges. Now, what I don't see here, and this is just a recap, but what do we do for the rights of investors? If you have money on an exchange and it goes bankrupt, like we need to secure those for the investors. That's not the linked to's assets to be using to pay off their debts. That should never happen. That's unacceptable. We need more protection. Hopefully this does that. I don't know if it does or not. We will see as it comes out here, right? The day the crypto market saw 100 billion in real liquidations, Bitcoin, altcoins, they all collapsed. And this is the point. Why do we need regs? Why did that happen? Why did we see $100 billion in liquidations in a single day? No one can tell you. We don't know. Market just collapsed. There was no clear report, transparency, or accountability. That can't happen. That can't be a thing in a market like crypto, a significant asset class. We need to know what's going on here. Yeah, early on in the day, maybe we don't know the catalyst. We don't know what's going on. It's unacceptable. In the market, the size of cryptocurrencies that we have absolutely no clue other than just making up our best idea, our best guess. We need that information. And that's what this type of thing will do. It'll tell us, well, the market crashed for this reason or that reason. That's important for investors. We need to treat this asset class like the asset it is. This is what adoption looks like. That's what Joe Lubin says. And if you're wondering why is Ethereum layer 2, Linea, look at the scoreboard. Partnership, well, with Swift. The backbone of global banking, they plan to, build something with Swift there. Tech selected for bank chain pilots with JP Morgan, BNY Mellon. Capital, 170 million just deployed by ex-BlackRock head of digital assets. The institutions, they're not guessing. They are moving to where the banks are building. Look, there's going to be a lot of players out here. Best believe XRP is going to take its slice of the pie, but so is Ethereum. It's going to get real in 2026. I think that's where we see, in terms of adoption, serious things happening. We found a bug in Bitcoin Core where when you did a migration, it deleted your wallet. It deleted your funds. Goodbye. So sorry. And essentially, if you didn't back up your wallet in some way, you're cooked. You're done. A catastrophic bug has been discovered that can permanently delete your wallet during migration. To break down the bug, migrating legacy wallets on these versions can cause a total data loss. The solution? Well, some of it has to be Bitcoin knots. It's not affected. It's not Bitcoin Core. Most people ignore it, and they shouldn't. Bitcoin knots is serious. It's time to stop blindly trusting the quote-unquote official implementation. Great video by Bitcoin University. I think he has a great channel. I suggest you watch this video. It was a really, really good one here. And just to understand what's going on. There's a lot of struggle here between Bitcoin Core and not, and the overall community, and should we allow, their NFTs and things of this nature, like all stuff we need to pay attention to. Even if you don't have Bitcoin, if you're an investor in crypto, know what's going on with the alpha and omega of cryptocurrencies. You best know what's going on with the granddaddy of this asset class. It's just common sense, right? And so I thought he had great coverage there. A lot going on. If you're involved in this space, think about running knots, of course, and just be careful what you do. Nobody's perfect. No software is perfect. That is just life in this game. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.